Hi friends, it's Laura. Welcome back to my channel. I am super excited about today's video. I want to talk to you about Vendoo, which is the cross-listing platform that I use to be able to list my items in multiple platforms with as minimal an amount of work as possible. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get to it. I'm super excited to do this. I've wanted to do it for a long time, but I didn't know how to use like a screen recording sort of software. And I finally just kind of buckled down and figured one out yesterday. Now, I am not a whiz by any stretch of the imagination, but we're going to get through this. I think I know enough to be able to walk us through some stuff on Vendoo. I think it'll be really fun for me. I don't know about you, but also part of the reason that I was incentivized to like make myself do this now is that Vendoo is offering a discount. So they're offering um, 40% off of, I guess, whatever you want to sign up with. They have a bunch of plans and we'll talk about some of those. And, for me as a creator, like I basically can be like entered into a drawing to win whatever, like a gift card or something like that. Whatever. That's not really why I'm doing this, although it was a nice like shove for me. But I talk about Vendoo all the time. You know that. So we're going to go over some of it today and hopefully you will be able to get a better feel for whether or not a cross-listing platform is right for you. Vendoo is not the only cross-listing platform that's out there. The reason that I went with Vendoo, I only looked at two when I first signed up. I looked at Vendoo and List Perfectly. And as far as I can tell, those are like the big kids of the cross-listing platforms. And they do have different functionality and features. But for me, a really big factor was that I felt like Vendoo offered way more of what I needed for a much better price. I just went before recording this and looked again at List Perfectly's plans. And I would have had to sign up for a minimum of $70 a month with List Perfectly to be able to get even just all of the basic functions in a single listing, to be able to include things like shipping weight or shipping price and stuff like that. Like, and it just like that's basic. You need that to make a listing. And so with Vendoo, I started off with basically a $20 a month plan. I recently upgraded it to add it's like another $12. So we're like 35 bucks a month. And it just works really well for me. I'll go over the plan with you when we start looking into it. But um, I've loved it so far. It's been great. There are glitches sometimes because Vendoo is integrating with multiple different platforms, and sometimes those platforms have glitches, and sometimes those platforms are making upgrades that they haven't communicated well with Vendoo, but that's going to happen with any platform that you start using for cross posting. So I'm going to show you Vendoo. I'm going to show you why I love it. And even if you don't end up using Vendoo, but you're curious about cross listing in general, I think it'll probably still give you a good feel for how any of these platforms work. I have only ever used Vendoo, so I don't know. But let's get into it a little bit. It's going to be so much fun and long, and it's me, so I'm going to talk a lot. But hopefully you'll like it, right? Okay. Thank you for watching this. I'm excited. Yay, let's go. All right, are we ready? I'm so excited about starting this. Just a little disclaimer in advance. You can see that my little face is up here in a corner. And as I'm going through the page and scrolling through and everything, I can't actually see my face in relation to the rest of the page while I'm recording and going through things. So I'm going to try and be really conscientious about, where I've placed my little face bubble to make sure that I'm not covering anything important. But please forgive me if I do. I'm still getting used to this software. It's called OBS. I think it stands for Open Broadcast System. So in case you are curious, like, how are you doing that? So that's how I'm doing it. Anyway, let's get into so exciting. Okay, so you can see plans for every type of seller, monthly or yearly billing. We're going to talk about monthly first because that's how I started. So they have multiple plans here, as you can see. We've got a free plan that lets you list 5 items a month, like cool, that'll get me through about 15 minutes, whatever. Starter plan, 25 items a month. Simple plan, which is what I currently subscribe to, that gives me 125 items per month. Then, of course, plus, pro, and unlimited. Unlimited gives you unlimited items per month. So let's talk a little bit more about what else is included in the plan before I tell you how I started off when I signed up. So included in every plan, you can send offers to buyers on eBay, Poshmark, Depop, Mercari, Grailed, and Vestiaire. I so far have used this feature for eBay, Poshmark, Depop, and Mercari. I don't sell on Vestiaire or Grailed, and I do like the way that it works. Um, eBay is pretty easy to send offers on directly through eBay, so that wouldn't have been an influence for me. I'm newly selling on Poshmark again, so I will be honest, I don't actually know about sending offers on Poshmark. Like my memory of it was that it was a very individual thing, but I don't remember if you can bulk send offers on Poshmark or not. But I do know on Depop, um, I am not able to bulk send offers through the Depop app. I have to like one at a time them. What you can do on Depop is like if I go into one of my items, I can choose to send an offer to like all of the likers for that item, or I can choose to individually send offers as people are liking things. But Vendoo allows you to go through and select like these 30 items. I want you to send offers to all the likers. So I love that. I will say that one drawback on that is that it sends it, as far as I can tell, as being a Depop buyer. I don't buy things really, but I will get the same offer over and over and over again from sellers. And I think they're probably sending their offers either through Vendoo or some sort of similar platform. So if you like an item and the seller sends you an offer for 20% off, and you're like, nope, sorry, it's like not now. And then tomorrow you might get another offer for 20% off, and you might get that same offer like every fucking day. So that's kind of the only drawback, but that's really, I think, more a function of Depop. I think it also happens if you're sending the offers directly through the Depop app. I don't think that Depop, like on Poshmark, if you send offers, it will only send that offer to a buyer who has never received it before. So if you're getting an offer on Poshmark for 10% off today, and then the seller sends another 10% off tomorrow, you're not going to get that offer. But then if they next time send out a 15% off, you'll get the 15% offer, and so on. Depop is just sends it to everybody all the fucking time, right? But it's still like super cool to be able to do that. I have used it to send offers out on Mercari as well, but Mercari is a super brandy new platform for me that I've just started using. So back to Vendoo and not offers. All of the monthly Vendoo plans are going to include cross posting to 10 plus marketplaces. We'll look at what those are. Auto sending the offers that we just talked about, sale detection and auto delisting for 5 plus marketplaces. I really love this feature. What they do, so if I sell something on eBay, Vendoo automatically, marks it as sold in Vendoo, and then also removes that item from any other platform that I've got it listed on, which is lovely. I've had a lot of experience with this. Previously, it was recognizing my sales for eBay and Depop because I only sold on eBay, Depop, and Etsy. Since I've added Poshmark and Mercari, I've only made one sale. I made a Poshmark sale. It did not auto detect the sale, and I don't know if it's because it takes a little bit longer. Like I gave it a few minutes and I kept refreshing, but I mean, literally, I gave it a few minutes. Okay. And then I just like marked it as sold myself, and then it delisted it from my other platforms. The delisting from other platforms is a feature that kind of comes for free with parts, but not with other parts. We'll talk about that too. So it's currently something that I pay a little bit extra for. So when I make a sale on Etsy, it does not detect that sale, and I have to go in and mark it myself. And we'll talk about that more too. And then mobile access. So Vendoo has an app on your phone, and I don't use it that often. I do most of my work through the desktop. That's personal preference for me. I do upload my photos through the app. I have listed through the app, but I really do prefer to do it through the desktop. But that's just because I prefer, doing it through the desktop. That's me. I've never tried to do something in the app that I wasn't able to do, and I was like, oh, I've got to go to the desktop to do it. So I've always been able to do anything that I wanted to do through the app. I just prefer desktop myself. So also, all Vendoo plans include unlimited cross posting and inventory storage. So as many items as you want to cross post, you can do that. Again, included in your plan and stuff like that. So if you have a plan that lets you list 125 items, you can cross post all 125 items, which like I would hope so. That's kind of probably what we're using this for. And inventory storage, by which they mean that they hold the data on it. Obviously, they're not coming to your house and taking all your inventory away to a warehouse. That would be nice, especially for 20 bucks a month. High resolution image hosting, editing, and resizing. Downloadable inventory spreadsheets. I kind of used that once, but I will be using that to do my inventory reconciliation, which is a project that I'm excited about, but also dreading. Inventory management and custom labels. Um, Inventory management, like you can, you know, put like SKU numbers in there for inventory storage and things. We'll go through some of that. Profit tracking and business analytics. I don't really use this through Vendoo, and that's, you can choose to or not to. We'll show you some of that functionality. Custom listing templates and default preferences. I kind of don't really use those. I do use default preferences. Like if you always do free shipping, you can kind of say like default to this free shipping on Etsy all the time, that kind of stuff. So I use some of that, but the listing templates I don't use. Stale listing reminders. Vendoo sends me those, and I so far ignore them. That's another story. And then live customer support 7 days a week. I will say that in general, when I reach out to Vendoo, I do get pretty timely responses. I usually use their online chat functionality, and they do have like a little bot that kind of says like, oh, is this what you mean? And then you're like, no, that's not what I mean. And then they're like, okay, we'll let a person talk to you. And then you wait. And usually, I mean, depends, of course, on like when you're contacting them, obviously, but I would say usually within a few hours, but like at max, I would say 24 hours that you hear back from somebody in email, and they're usually pretty responsive about things. So I have not been mad at them for any customer support issues. So that's nice. And so here are some of the add-ons that you can choose. Like when we, sorry, looking back up at these plans, for example, so simple plan, which is what I'm currently on, $19.99 a month, which allows me to list 125 items each month, 125 background removals. I don't do that. But then, you know, it lets me cross post to all the marketplaces, send offers, sale detection. That all of these plans allow you to enter all of the information that you're going to need to enter for all of your listings. I'm going to show you List Perfectly, which is, I think this is why I did not go with them. I went to the pricing list for List Perfectly before I started recording this. And so here are some of their pricing charts. They have simple for $29 a month, the business for $49, pro for $69. When I look at these, all of them have, you get 100 listings per month, the mobile app, and then the supported fields were really what kind of made the decision for me. So on a simple plan, you get to enter images, your photos, your title, your description, and your price. And that's it. So obviously, vastly insufficient. For a business plan, $50 a month basically, pictures, title, description, the price, the brand, the color, the size, the quantity, your keywords, like what was the original retail value if you're doing like more modern pieces, a barcode and a SKU, but you do not get to enter the condition, which a lot of these sites require. You don't get to enter the shipping weight or the shipping dimensions. Like, what am I even going to fucking do with that if I can't enter shipping information? Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, I would have had to start at $70 a month and be on a $70 a month plan in order to be able to enter all of the information I needed for every listing. And that still, 70 bucks a month was giving me 100 listings. So I don't need that. That's, you know, so it was a pretty easy decision for me to go with Vendoo. Okay. So, some of the things that are add-ons that you pay additional for, the ability to import your existing items. So well, I pay for that again now, but just kind of by default, I'll show you that. But it was $5 a month to be able to import my items from all of the different platforms. So the very first month where I signed up, I did pay for that feature. There is a bulk delist and relist. So you can pick, it says, I think Vendoo does 240 items at a time. You can pick 240 items or thereabouts and delist them all from the platform. So it will end all of those listings for you, and then it will relist them automatically without you having to do any other work. And you're like, why would I want to do that? Right. And the reason that you want to do that is because if you have a listing that's sitting on Etsy for 3 years, Etsy is like, oh, Laura's had this thing up here for 3 years. And every time people click on it, they don't buy it. So clearly nobody fucking wants this thing. Right. So when you refresh those listings, Etsy's like, oop, Laura put up a new listing. Let's show it to a bunch of people. And a lot of platforms will show a new listing for I believe it's like 2 to 3 months to kind of get a good feel of what buyers think and where to place it in search algorithms and things like that. So it is a good idea to delist and relist items on a somewhat regular basis. People have different theories about how frequently they do that. I have not started doing that yet for reasons that all involve like shit going on in my head, doesn't matter. I don't currently do that, but it's a great feature to have, and I will at some point start doing that. And Vendoo does kind of give you a little flag on your listing and say, hey, you listed this about this long ago, and you'll see it when we go through some of my listings. And maybe you want to like delist it and relist it, okay? The third add-on that you can have is what they call all marketplaces. So each of these plans, I believe that you are able to list to 3 marketplaces when you just pay for your regular plan. If you want to be able to list 2 more marketplaces than just the 3 that are included, then you need to add this bundle so you can cross post to all, currently I guess it's 11 marketplaces for $4.99 a month. And then if you decide that you want all 3 of those add-on features, it's $11.99 per month, so basically 12 bucks. So when I first started with Vendoo, I had approximately 13 or 1400 items across my various platforms. So the first month I signed up, I also used a discount. Like right now they have the 40% off. I think that the discount that I got was similar. And I can't remember. I feel like I also used a referral code from somebody, and I can't remember if that gave me like an additional discount. I signed up with like a really great price. I signed up with the $70 a month plan, $69.99 for unlimited, because again, I had 1,300 items and the plan below that only gives you 600. So I wanted to get everything in all at once because that's what I need to do for my own sanity. And I did also sign up for the importing feature so that I could import everything. So that's what I did the first month, imported everything. And then I just started cross posting. Now, after I've gotten everything imported, I did drop my plan way down for the second month and going forward to the simple plan for $19.99 per month, which gives me 125 items. I don't actually come anywhere close to 125. I've been, the past few months, I've been averaging around 50 items a month. I am a slow lister, okay? So that's me, or never me, but, and that's what I did. And I really love the way that worked out. I loved the flexibility of being able to do that. For my first few months, I stayed with the simple plan because I just had my 3 marketplaces. I was not going to be doing the delist relist thing yet. I wanted to focus on getting things cross posted. And so I did that for a while, new listings and cross posting. I would go into one of the eBay listings and then, for example, and then add in the information for Etsy and Depop and then publish it. And I, just slowly kind of go through that. I still have never gotten all the way through all of my listings. Again, that's a me thing. But, I left it at that for a long time because I said, I'm not going to add on additional marketplaces. I'm not going to add on all this delist and relist when I still haven't cross posted everything. But finally, I went ahead and added I did the whole bundle, right? So I added on the 12 bucks a month for all of this functionality because I wanted the ability to mark. This is literally why I did it. I was like, I want to be able to mark my item as sold on Etsy and have it automatically delist from the other platforms. Like, I was like, it's worth it. And also now, because I have all of this, I'm going to finally get to my inventory reconciliation plan and whatever, and you've heard about that too much. Okay, so those are the monthly plans for Vendoo. Let's talk about some of the yearly. I mean, you're basically looking at the same type of functionality, but you're paying in bulk for the entire year. If this is something that you think you would do on an ongoing basis, I would absolutely sign up for that plan right out the gate because you can use the 40% off that Vendoo is running this special on. And by the way, the special is going through January 30th, I believe. Today is I'll be publishing this on January 20th. So, but getting 40% off your first month does not hurt. And you can change your plans whenever you want, right? So, yearly billing. Their lowest plan is $199 per month, which gives you 25 listings every month. Okay. All the add-ons are already included in all of the yearly plans, which is also fantastic. So, if you think about it, I am paying currently about $35 a month, right? So yes, I'm doing math on a calculator. $19.99 plus $11.99. So about $32 a month. And then we're going to multiply that by 12. So I'm paying $383.76 per year to be able to list 125 items per month. So, the plans that they have yearly don't quite correlate for the number of items. So if I were going to go to a yearly plan, I mean, honestly, the rate at which I list, I could probably go to the starter plan for 75 items a month, $299 per year. That includes all the other features. So I'd be saving, God, everything I probably should 379 minus 299. I'd be saving $85 a year. Okay. But I'd only be able to add 75 items per month. Since I'm currently doing about 50, that's probably fine, but okay, whatever. I will also admit $35 a month feels way less painful for me than $300 per year, but we're all different. Some of you are financially responsible. So the next plan, Pro Plan, 250 items a month for $4.99 per year. And the unlimited plan lets you list as many items as you want per month for $599 per year. Obviously, you're going to look at this and determine which plan is going to work best for you. Not all of you are turtle listers like I am. And so in every one of these plans, you get all of the cross post to all the marketplaces, automatic delist and relist, the sale detection where it's available, the offers where it's available. I also do think right now they're letting everybody send offers, but I think they are going to be making that a paid feature at some point. Currently, it is free, and so I do it, frequently. But I believe that they have said that at some point that is going to be included in the yearly plans, but it's going to be a paid feature for the monthly plans. So keep that in mind. You know, for you. So, all right, now we're going to get into like the little nitty gritty. Okay, a little nitty gritty. So let's see. Go back to my beginning. So this is my Vendoo homepage. I'm right underneath my face, I'm assuming. Yeah. You can't see it, but up under here somewhere, see it says bulk actions. There's like my little, here, hold on one second, I'll show you. So you can see it says new item and it's got my little person face thing here that lets you drop down for account preferences, all your little menu, okay? And I'm going to put myself back over here though, because you don't really need to see all that most of the time. So this is what I look at when I log into Vendoo. And over here on the left, we've got all of these little sections where you may want to go. You have your inventory section, which is basically all of your listings. You've got adding a new item. And also, besides it being over here, it's also over here on the left, underneath my face. Back to the left. This is the right, underneath my face. Back over here on the left, we've got this import button, which I haven't used in a jillion years because I did it the first time. And anything new that I list ever, I do all of my listing directly through Vendoo now, unless I am not planning to list it anywhere else. The only things I don't list through Vendoo are when I'm basically panty auctions on eBay. That's the only things I don't put on Vendoo. So everything else gets done through Vendoo directly. Then here's the send offers, which we'll play with. And then on the bottom is some analytics. And I also admittedly don't go into the analytics too much, but I don't really use Vendoo in that sort of way either. So for my month so far, let's see, you can just barely see it next to my face here. I have listed 57 out of my 125 items allotted this month. My billing cycle changes tomorrow. Well, for me, it's tomorrow. January 20th is when my billing cycle changes. And it's actually pretty precise. Like, I don't know if I signed up at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something, but like in the morning, I'll still have like the ability to use up, my 125. Like, so if I don't, whatever, maybe I'll try and get myself at least to 60 items this month. But then some point in the afternoon, that's when it resets. So I just get a kick out of that because they're not doing it at like midnight. It's like literally when you signed up for the plan is when your plan resets. So that's pretty cool. So let's see. Let's take a look at listing something. I know, super exciting. You're so thrilled. So I'm going to press my little new item button. Again, we're kind of here underneath my face. Okay. New item. So when you're listing a new item, over here on the left-hand side, you'll see that we're currently on the Vendoo form. And so this is what they do. They break everything up. So this Vendoo form is basically going to include fields that are going to be applicable across the different marketplaces. So this is where I'm going to fill out my title, my item description, brand, condition, color stuff, tags, but I don't do the tags here. I'll explain why. Your category, size, package weight, listing price. You can enter cost of goods if you like. Vendoo labels, that's a thing that I don't use. So maybe we'll explore that a little bit. And then Vendoo internal notes, which just means it's notes for yourself, right? And then you'll see each of these, eBay, Etsy, these are currently all of the platforms that I am listing to, even though there are more available. And in fact, let's take a quickie look at that. Connect more marketplaces. So I am currently using eBay, Etsy, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop. I am doing Whatnot, but that's in beta mode and it's a little janky, but we'll look at that. And then I could also choose to connect to Grailed, Facebook Marketplace, Shopify, and Vestiaire Collective, right? That was my commentary on Facebook Marketplace. I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with Vendoo. I love Vendoo. So I could choose to list to those as well. They used to also have Kitizen, but Kitizen went out of business. So there we are. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now, I hope that this isn't too tedious for you, but if it is, I'm really sorry. I am going to actually take you through the process of me doing a listing. And that could either be super interesting or really boring. I am going to try to have put little chapters in this YouTube video so that you can skip shit if you want. But let's go ahead and get started with writing an actual listing. Okay, so. All right, so here we go with a fresh, brandy new listing, mostly. This is a dress that I've listed on Whatnot before, so I had the measurements there already. I did copy them over. This is the dress I'm going to be doing, and it's just an 80s cotton little dress. And there's the tag. Kind of. I know that's not what we're here for, but you know, I got to give you a little something cute to look at, right? Okay, so how do I do this listing? Well, first I'm going to start in my little Vendoo field where it's just all the basics. It's essentially going to apply to every listing. So vintage sleeveless cotton dress, 1980s floral day dress, belted floral day dress. Let's try that. Size, we're going to go with size large. It's marked size 12. Now, size. So you can see underneath the title, it's actually showing me here that I've used 67 characters, and it kind of gives you hints as you go. So like the limit on Grailed only allows 60 characters in the title. And as I type more things and potentially move past limit, it's gonna let me know. So what else could I stick in here? Because I usually go for 80. I think with all the platforms I list on, eBay has the most restrictive title of 80 characters. So I go up until I hit that. And, but you know, it lets you, I try to use as much of my title as possible because SEO, right? Search engine optimization, in case you didn't already know that. I feel like you knew that. Vintage sleeveless cotton dress, 1980s, belted floral day dress, size large, comma, buy together. And you can see just perfectly at 80 characters. 80 characters. Now, a lot of people don't like using commas in their title. I like my title to look kind of like a sentence, like a normal person would say it. In very old school stuff, people would be like, you know, 1980s cotton dress, belted floral, button front, day dress. You know, they just like string together a bunch of words and it looks like it makes no sense. It's very hard to read. A lot of platforms, especially with all the way that they are able to like AI the bejesus out of everything now to trawl all the different things and give you search results. It's much better to have like a sentence that makes some sense to a person being able to read it. So, vintage sleeveless cotton dress, 1980s belted floral day dress, size large, buy together. And together is a brand that a lot of people like. Now, when I do my descriptions, I essentially repeat my title in the first line of the description. I don't know if this is effective or not. This is another like SEO trick that I learned a while back because I was told at some point somewhere that when Google search results come up, often they're looking at the first line of the description, not at the title. And I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I don't feel like it hurts anything. Also, Depop doesn't have a title field, so it is still using the first line of your description anyway. So that works out well for me, but that's what I do. So vintage, floral, and yes, I backspace everything when I make a mistake because I do. Vintage floral day dress, 1980s, cotton flower print, button front. I'm trying to think of something instead of just dress again. Sleeveless dress, size large. And I make it a little bit more filled out because I've already written a title, so I have a little bit more leeway. So now I usually get into some sort of description. I'm talking way too much through this. I apologize, but you're used to it. Let's see. Sweet little, cute little, sweet little, adorable little. There's always something little. Button front, button front dress from button front dress from the 80s, made by iconic brand Together. Backspace. Let's see. Has an oversized tropical flower print. Sorry, I'm just going to take a look at the dress again. I often have to do this myself. I don't know how you guys do your listings, but you can see why it takes me forever. I have to like look at the item again. I also usually have my photos. I have my phone here next to me, and I will look at the photos that I took. It works out a lot better for me if I take photos of the item beforehand, and then I can have it modeled on myself, and I can see sort of how it fits and whatever. It just helps me. I know it doesn't make much sense. So buttons all the way down the front, just reminding myself. Oversized floral, tropical flower print, and sweet little button front dress. A matching belt. I apparently cannot speak and type at the same time. Oh, flower print and a matching fabric belt. Just felt like it needed another word in there. This comfortable and chic dress has 2 pockets and is the perfect little summertime brunch. No, I get very descriptive. Not very, like I don't tell a whole little story or anything, but I try to make it more than just like cotton, flowers, buttons. But some people are very bullet point. I don't know that one way is better than the other. Honestly, I'm sure that there are people who look at my descriptions and want to hurl themselves off a bridge because it's just too much to read through. I can't help myself. So let's see. Comfortable chic dress has 2 pockets and is the perfect little piece to wear for a fun weekend meetup. I don't even know what I'm saying in this shit half the time. I don't want to say that. Perfect little piece to wear for brunch with friends, or also totally appropriate for the office. People still do that. Especially when paired with a light cardigan. Okay, this midi length, I gotta look at my photo. Yes, midi length dress has no condition issues and is in lovely shape. Marked size 12 and fits like a modern size large. I always write this whole fucking spiel in every single listing, shown on a model who wears a size small top, medium bottom. For best fit, please compare the measurements below to your own, or, since no one knows their measurements, or to the size chart of a brand that fits you well. Now, sizing is always like a clusterfuck for a lot of people, especially when it comes to vintage, because many people do not know their measurements. And even when they know their measurements, they don't necessarily have a good enough understanding of how an article of clothing should measure in order to fit your own body well. And the reason they don't understand that is because it's fucking complicated. Okay, so I do my best by making all of these sort of accommodations. I tell them what the marked size is. I tell them the alphanumeric size, small, medium, large. I tell them what size I am. And I don't say I wear a size this because they're going to be like, okay, that's great. Like they don't necessarily know that I'm my own model. So I just say shown on a model who, even though that's just me, but just more clear. So I tell them what size the model is. And then I list out the measurements for them. I do have, like on my Etsy, I have a whole thing in my FAQ talking about how like I use Anthropologie's size chart as my basis of comparison when I talk about small, medium, large, or like 6, 8, 10, 12 kind of, numbered sizes. I don't always include numbered sizes. This one especially, it's marked 12, which is a modern large anyway. It's pretty much in line with a modern large, so I left it. So measurements. Now, let's see. Let's pull these back up here. All right, so let's see. Please compare the measurements below to your own or to the size chart of a brand that fits you well. And then I start 44-inch chest. Oh, girl, what are you doing? 44 waist. I know it's already written there, but let's just do this. 39 to 44. Elastic. Hip 52, and shoulder to hem is 49 inches long. So I'm going to delete this because that was my little carryover from Whatnot. I don't think there's any other measurements that I need to include. Actually, that's incorrect. I am going to measure the belt. Because the belt is, again, this is just like a bonus measurement thing. So I'm going to take out my handy dandy little measuring tape that I got for free from, it says Terry Cloths Vintage Fashion, Nikki Terry style on YouTube, and Nikki Terry on Whatnot. She sends these when you first purchase from her on Whatnot. She sends you a free measuring tape, and I love it. I love the measuring tape, and I love that she sends it. Anyway, I'm going to measure the belt. So the smallest it'll go is 28 inches, and the largest that this belt will go, oh shoot, is 32 inches. And I'm glad that I did this because it does appear somebody poked a couple holes in the belt to make it larger. So I am going to disclose that in the listing. So what on earth did I just say this did? 28 to 32. Okay. 28 inches to 8 to 32, or hold on, I'm just going to measure the man-made holes. They're all man-made, but you know what I mean. The bonus holes. That sounds bad. We're going to say 37 to 37 with hand-poked holes. Now I have to go back up. Now also take note that underneath this description window, see it says 884 characters. Again, that's helpful because Depop, for example, has 1,000 character limit, so it's going to like let me know, hey girl, you're a little too close. Also, Depop's 1,000 character limit includes their tags, which don't get added in my description here. Hold on, let me see. I always like to enter my condition issues prior to, okay. So this midi length dress has no condition issues. I am going to change that too. The only condition issue with this dress is on the belt. Someone added 3 hand-poked holes to the end, but they are not very visible. Shown in photos. I always say shown in photos because obviously if you look at the photos, you can tell that it's shown there. But when you see the photo without any other context, especially because I'm usually it's gonna be a close-up of the photo, of the, you don't know what you're looking at. So at least if it's in the item description and they know that that's what I'm pointing out in the photo, it's helpful. So I'm at 968 characters. It's gonna make me a little bit tight on Depop, but that's okay, we'll get there. So now brand. I am going to together write the brand here, but because I sell vintage, frequently there's not a brand listed. So when there's no brand, um, either because there literally is no brand in the garment, or the brand is like not coming up in the list that's shown here. Sometimes I'll just write it in there anyway, but sometimes I just put unbranded. That doesn't matter so much because you can change it for each one of the platforms that we're going to list on. Under condition, I am almost always putting pre-owned because I'm selling vintage, but you can see they've got new with tags, new without tags, new with defects, pre-owned, or poor with major flaws. Even if the item I am listing is poor with major flaws, I don't ever choose that because it's, again, going to be detailed out and the whole thing, and I change it for each platform that I look at. Primary color, this is a little problematic. I'm going to choose multicolor because it is, but that's not an option on all of the sites. That's okay, I'm sticking with it for now, but you can choose a primary and a secondary. I'm just sticking with primary. The SKU, I don't know what that's going to be yet, but this is where I would put my inventory number. You can see I've chosen some in the past, some of the options that are coming up for me that I'm obviously ignoring because those are already probably occupied. But I would put my little inventory storage location in that slot before I list the item. Zip code is where it's shipping from. And you do that in your Vendoo setup and it'll always default to that. Tags you can add here, but I don't because the tag formats are different on all of the different platforms. So I don't add anything here. Quantity for me is going to be 1. Category, almost always the same for me. I'm going to go to, you can search here, right? But I don't like using the search because I still have to like do a lot of scrolling anyway. So if I put dress, you can see how many different categories are coming up, like preschool and pretend dress up costumes, dressmakers scissors, actual dresses, but those in kids and girls clothing, dress shoes and men's shoes. There's too much. It overwhelms me, so I don't use the search function. I just scroll and go through categories. I'm going to go to clothing, women. I'm going to also point out here, when you go to clothing, there's this specialty. And if you've listed on eBay before, that was historically where you would go to list vintage clothing because you could pick specialty and then vintage and then women's, men's, whatever. eBay, it seems they seem to be moving away from that. I still use that a lot on eBay for vintage lingerie because it's used underwear essentially, and that's the only way that you can sell that on there. But for anything else now, I go directly through the modern category because I think that eBay, in the past when I listed on eBay, eBay would like automatically pick what category, and you could change it, but it would pick it for you. And I noticed after a while it stopped picking the vintage category for me, even though I'm always putting vintage in the title and everything. And so I felt like that was like a nudge, like they are having things show up in the quote unquote regular clothing categories now. Vintage is just a lot more prevalent than it used to be. So I think that's why they moved away from like separating it out from the rest of the clothing items. So women's clothing, right? And then I'm going to pick my category dresses. So is that US size? I pick the alpha sizes always. When I list the size in the drop downs, I always choose an alphanumeric size, alphanumeric, the alpha, small, medium, large. It's pretty broad. And I feel like when people are searching, these drop downs are going to be the fields that you can filter your search by in the other platforms. So you always want to have just one singular size in there. And if it's, let's say it's a garment that fits from small to large, I generally will just go to the middle and choose medium. My title will say small to large. My description obviously will say small to large with measurements. If it's like really a wide range, like if it was extra small to extra large, I'm going to pick one size, right? And that's in here somewhere. You can see a lot of size, one size, but you've got all these 12P, 3X, numerics, all sorts of stuff, right? I generally stick to small, medium, large, whatever. Size type, you could do regular, plus, petite, tall, junior, maternity. I don't think I've used regular most of the time. I use plus size when it's a plus size garment. I have used petites on occasion, but a lot of the petite garments I come across are not even necessarily petite sizing, so I also kind of ignore that. All right, package weight, I'm absolutely estimating here. I do primarily free shipping for things, so I'm not super worried about the package weight because I adjust it later, but also my guesses are usually pretty good at this point because I've been doing this for so long. And then my package dimensions, these don't super matter because again, you can always change them on the platform, but I know approximately what my package dimensions are going to be when I wrap it all up. So now listing price, how much do I want to list this item for sale on? Again, you can change this for each platform if you want. I do not do that, but we'll show you. I'm going to list this for $79. And so most of my platforms that will include shipping. You can put the cost of goods in there. I don't remember what, I don't usually fill this out on Vendoo. Wow, I paid $7 for this dress. Girl. So I'll enter that just for y'all there. So cost of goods. And then Vendoo labels. So let's look at this label manager, which I've literally never used. Labels. So you can just create labels. So they've got multi-quantity, right? Apparently I have 8 items that are multi-quantity items. Let's see, add a new label. I don't even know. Add new. Okay, so I guess you can sort of sort this out. Make up your own labels to be able to, like if you have something that you want to be able to sort frequently, I guess you could do that. Maybe I would decide to add like menswear versus women's wear or housewares versus clothing or something. I literally have no idea because I don't do this stuff. So I don't use that. So that's fine. So, and then your internal notes. You know, maybe you want to note that you bought this at XYZ store on XYZ date, or you want to, you know, I don't know. You can do whatever you want. Okay. Now I'm going to save it. Okay. Once I save it, this does count as a new item. And I'm at 58 items that I've listed for my month out of my 125. And you can see December 20th through January 20th. So now that I've got my Vendoo form filled out, I know, big breath. You're like, Laura, you've been talking for 800 years. I'm sorry. This will get a little bit easier. But also, this is the reality. Welcome to reselling. Okay. Also, welcome to my channel. I don't shut up. eBay. You will notice I do not yet have photos in here. This is my process. My photos, I actually probably could upload them from the computer today, but I haven't edited them yet. I take all my photos on my phone. And so after I have done all of my stuff on here, I will go into my phone, do all my photo editing, and then upload the photos through the Vendoo app, which I can't really show you because that's hard to do. But we're just going to go move forward here. And then once I've got the photos listed, I will do some more stuff on the desktop, which I will be able to show you. So my eBay. Now I've clicked over here on the left-hand side to eBay Marketplace. And then I always have to scroll through everything because I will forget fields, right? I get very like, a lot of stuff is not super automatic for me. So title, description, all done. Brand, multicolor, perfect. SKU, I haven't filled out yet. I'll do that later. Category is fine. So here, eBay wants me to add a department. So women. And of course, they've got all the little red asterisks so that you know when it's a required field or not. Dress length is a midi length dress. Size large, size type regular. The style, they require this. I find that most of the time, a lot of these styles are not applicable. Normally I would go with A-line. I go with that a lot, but I am going to go with a shirt dress today because it is a collared dress. It buttons down the front, so that works. You can add up to 100. Actually, I usually only add 1, honestly. Shall we do more? Overall, pencil, sheath, shift, sundress, sure. Let's just stick there. Okay, condition description. I always write the same exact thing. See photos and item description. A lot of people will actually write the condition description in there. I think that eBay used to have a much shorter character requirement for this way back in the day. Now you can have up to 1,000 characters, which is a fucking item description. I've already entered all of the conditions into my item description. I'm not doing it again. And I want to make sure that people read my item description. Again, this was more critical back in the day because the characters were fewer in the condition description box, and I wanted to make sure that they fully understood whatever the item conditions were, but whatever, I just put that, it's easy. Show optional fields. I always do this. Um, all of these fields at this point, this is all just specific to eBay. So you're not necessarily seeing this on the other platforms. So accents, I usually look at it and don't use it. I'm going to skip that. Character is like if it's Mickey Mouse or something, that's never applicable for me. Country of manufacture, I always do try to fill this out. This is made in India. So there we go. Closure, button. And you can see like they've got multiples. You can start typing and it'll narrow your search results. Fabric type, this is a twill, I believe. There we go. I don't always fill that out. A lot of times I don't find, like Georgette is not a fabric type. You can create it, you can see like, but again, this is a field that people can use so they can go through and refine their eBay searches with these fields. Are people looking specifically for twill dress? I don't know, probably not. But I feel like these platforms like you to fill out as many of their fields as possible to make their little algorithms happy. So I do my little job. Features, this is belted, collared. I don't know why these are features, but whatever. It has pockets. I think that's a feature. Pockets. And I'm going to leave it at that. Handmade, no. Garment care. I usually, I fill this out 50-50. This does not actually say, which is very interesting. So I'm going to leave it blank because there's no instructions on the tag. I mean, it's machine washable. It's a fucking cotton dress. But because the tag does not specifically say, I'm not going to enter that. If the tag says dry clean only, but it's something that I've thrown in the fucking washing machine and it's fine, I still leave it blank. I kind of let people use their discretion. We all kind of know how to do laundry, right? If it's dry clean only and I actually believe that the garment needs to be dry clean only, I'll fill that out. If it says machine washable, I'll put machine washable. If it says hand washable, I actually do select the hand wash only. But to me, hand wash means wash on delicate cycle in the washing machine. So material, mine is 100% cotton, but you can select multiple fabrics. I'm just double checking myself. Mine's not 100% cotton. Good thing I double check. So rayon and cotton. There we go. Neckline, collared. You can see there's a whole bunch of options. Occasion, I'm going to put casual. I'm going to put business because you could wear this to work. I would wear it to work back in the day. Pattern, floral. I'm not going through too many of these because that's more like how to list on eBay, not necessarily how to list in Vendoo. But you can see there's a lot of stuff here. Season I don't ever fill out because like they're all like all the seasons in my opinion. And then primary store category. Not everybody has store categories set up necessarily on eBay. I do, so I fill it out. Theme. All right, this is one that I've started using since I've been on Vendoo. It's very annoying because I cannot always remember what all the fields are, but we're going to go for it. So this is a 1980s dress. So I'm going to go with 80s. And then I just scroll through because I can't remember all the fields. Bohemian, even though, a lot of this, sure, we'll go with classic. I know colorful is another one. Colorful. Let's see. Country sky designer, floral flower. I kind of do a lot too. They have these, like it's not really cowboy, but if there's something sort of westerny, sometimes I'll put cowboy. This has geek, gothic, grunge. So I'm going to choose geek because I think of this dress, it's like a collared button front, like I think of it geek in terms of more like preppy librarian kind of thing. Not really hippie. We'll go with hipster though. I'll take that. Some of these I agree are loose interpretations. That's okay. I'm just trying to make some algorithms happy. For some reason, I find that the L's and M's don't usually have stuff. Nerd, I sometimes put in there. I'm not going to do that today. Peasant preppy. Let's see. Princess punk. Retro, obviously. I think after this is probably not a whole lot left. It's very tedious, you can tell. Rainbow. School. Sports, tattoo. Teacher. I'll do teacher. It's a teacher dress. Tropical, ugly sweater, university. Okay. Unit quantity, I don't do vintage. I fill out vintage. I say yes every single time. And then it's got my shipping information from the original Vendoo form. and then the price from the original Vendoo form. Now eBay, of course, you can choose your fixed price, your auction style. I'm almost always doing fixed price. I allow best offers on eBay, so I've got that. I also back up to shipping for a second. So, we filled out our shipping information on the Vendoo profile, weight and dimensions, but of course, each of your platforms have different shipping options. So on eBay, I have multiple shipping templates. So here, it has all of the templates available. Why is there a copy of this? You're so annoying, eBay. That's eBay, it's not Vendoo, I'm sure. But ground advantage and priority. There's ground only because sometimes I've got things that are like super heavy. Ground, UPS, FedEx priority, and media mail. So like my ground only, I think I have that because of international shipping. Um, it's a long story, but whatever. Like these are all my eBay shipping templates that I have set up that do various different things. So I default to ground advantage priority. You can see over here, there's this little green check mark. It says using default. So when I haven't defaulted that before, like here under my shipping location, there's this little uh, save button, little floppy disk, and you can see it says save as default. I don't know why that's not clicked. It does always default it to that for me, but I'm going to click that. See how it works. There we go. Package. Okay. So that's eBay. Finally, Laura fixed one. You can see it says image fields must have at least one photo. I don't have photos yet, so it's okay. I'm just doing my draft. Now we're going to move to Etsy. I'm going to go a little bit faster through this, but I wanted you to be able to see. So Etsy is really annoying because they don't have they don't have multicolor as an option. So I put rainbow all the time. SKU, I have to put what year it was because it's vintage, 1980s. Etsy tags, mother of pearl. I hate Etsy tags. So you can see eBay doesn't have tags. That's where I used like the theme drop down to sort of act as tags for me. On Etsy, they do have tags, and I'm going to have to think up as many as possible. Um, one of my favorite resources for Etsy tags is either Star Lamore on YouTube or Pam Duffy on YouTube. They both work for eRank, which is like a pretty Etsy specific SEO tool. And you can use it for free with some features. You can pay for some features, but I've been watching a lot of their videos and I've learned so much about the way Etsy keywords work. And so I'm going to put some tags in here that are not necessarily going to make sense. Traditionally, people will put phrases in here. Etsy tags can be multi-word phrases. I think it's up to 20 characters per tag. So for instance, bohemian dress, right? That's a tag, 1980s. So somebody might write vintage dress, bohemian dress, 1980s dress, whatever. They do that 100 times. The E-Rank ladies have taught me that you do not want or need to repeat words like that so frequently. So even though somebody might specifically search for the phrase bohemian dress, um, that's a bad example because I'm going to use it. Let's say they're going to specifically search for the phrase vintage dress. I'm going to have bohemian dress in here and then 1980s vintage as a second one. Now, somebody might search vintage dress, but Etsy's going to recognize that I have the word vintage and I have the word dress, and it's going to do a little mashup and present this as one of the options. Will it choose an exact phrase match as like more of a priority? Yes, but that's not like the only factor that they're looking at. Whenever search results are finding items for people, they're looking at fucking everything. Your photos, your title, your description, tags if those are applicable, other things that the person has looked at in the past. It's going to show me different results for vintage dress than it will show you for vintage dress because we have different search histories and all that shit's taken into account these days, right? So tags are important. By mixing up the words, you're more opportunity to get more stuff in there, but also it's kind of overload for me. I don't end up using all 13 tags a lot because I can't think of that many words. So let's see, bohemian dress, 1980s vintage, teacher, librarian. Let's see, tropical flower print. And this will also yell at me. So you can see I put tropical flower print, but it's like, oh, each tag only allows 20 letters, Laura, too many. So I got to take that out. Okay. Tropical flower, and then I'll do floral print. So I've got flower and floral. Button front, let's see, button front, belted. Let me see if it will let me do belted shirt dress. Yes, it fits. So even though I already said bohemian dress, shirt dress is all one word for me right now. So I used that. Um, Summer brunch. I'm going to put wedding guest. It's a little bit of a casual wedding guest dress, but it's a good, you know. Let me see, wedding guest outfit. So by like maximizing the number of words I can put in each tag, I can get more words in there as an opportunity to be found. Geek, nerd, preppy. Let's see. Oh, midi. Girl, didn't put midi dress in there. Midi length. And I'm going to stop there. Length. Maybe if I spelled length properly, that would also help my search engine optimization. Together, midi length. And I'm going to leave it at that because we don't all need to sit here all day. So rayon and cotton. I almost just put cotton, but remembered my earlier mistake. All right, listing type. It's a physical item. I'm going to save that as my default also. I didn't realize I wasn't doing that. Quantity of one, because it almost always is for me. You can put multi-quantity items in there. Let's see, category. It's got my category selected for me already, but you can see, even though I already picked out my category in the original Vendoo guy, I can change it if I so choose. I do not choose in this case. And sometimes you have to check that because it may have the categories incorrect. I listed a jumpsuit yesterday, and in one place it had, like, I think on Depop, it had auto selected romper instead of jumpsuit because they were both sharing a category. So sometimes you want to make sure to look at it, just to make sure that you have the right one selected, because sometimes the categories don't all line up across platforms, and Vendoo can't really control that, you know. So, all right, showing optional fields. All right, clothing style. I'm going to go with preppy on this one. They do pinup and rockabilly too. I'm going to leave it, but that does remind me. Let's see, let's stick pinup rockabilly as another tag. There we go. Also, if I put too many tags for Etsy, it will gray them out, like green dog. That's soda can. There we go. So now it's gray because I've only allowed 13 tags and I put too many. So, okay, let's see. Sleeve length, sleeveless. Neckline, collared. Silhouette, A-line. Etsy's silhouettes are also weird. Like, you know, I don't know, whatever. Pockets, yes. Dress style. This is the one that's weird. Like, half the time, I am actually going to be able to select shirt dress today, but usually I'm not putting anything for dress style on Etsy because it's usually not applicable. Hem length, midi, mid calf. Occasion I don't fill out because they're super specific. Bachelorette party, prom, wedding. If you're selecting, let's say I put wedding as an occasion, right? Because you could wear this if you're a wedding guest. And every time people are searching, wedding dress, and then this is potentially being presented as an option and nobody picks on it, that can hurt you in search results. So I only choose Etsy's occasion if it's actually specifically a wedding dress. I'll put wedding, but I almost never use those. On eBay, the occasions are like casual, business, formal, So it's all a little different. Holiday, same thing. I don't like, unless it's specifically like a Christmas decoration and I want to select Christmas, I don't pick the holiday if it's not exactly specific. Sustainability is not applicable to me. Hemp, linen, organic, cotton, recycled polyester. Wow, there's four sustainability options. All right. Pattern, floral. We can do that one. Shipping profile. Again, you can have multiple profiles, which I do. Almost everything I use is free calculated shipping. And the reason I put free calculated is because I do free domestic shipping. But by using calculated on Etsy, that means that if somebody internationally is purchasing from me, I don't have to figure out what I want to charge people internationally. Like, it just bases it on the calculated weight and dimensions of the item. So that I've got my package weight here, and then my return policy on Etsy. I'm sure it had that in eBay. I must have skipped over it. But anyway, I've got my return policy and then my price. Renewal options, manual renewal on Etsy, very important to me. And then it's a live listing as opposed to, I could put it in draft or inactive. Why would you put something in inactive? But whatever. And then I'm going to save that. See how much fun this is? Now I'm going to go to Poshmark. So Poshmark, we've got our title, description, brand filled out, new with tags. No, primary color. It apparently doesn't have a multicolor option either, which is very annoying. It doesn't even have rainbow. So I'm going to go with pink and green because why not? Pink, green. Okay. Style tags. Poshmark lets you add 3. They have a bajillion in their drop downs. I try to stick to what is in their drop downs. I feel like, can you add? Um, yeah, you can create one, but again, people like kind of click on these to like bring up more options for those. I just stick with what they give me. Oh, I'm gonna go with 80s. I think they have cottage core, which would have been a nice. I do this too. Oh, they don't have cottage core, do they? Oh, there they go. Okay, cottage core and tropical. Yes, cool. Works for me. Let's see. I forget about keywords sometimes. So like on Etsy, I probably should have put cottage core too, but we didn't. All right, category, women, dresses, midi. Perfect, I assume. What are our other options? Yeah, that works. Cancel that. All right, size, US standard, size large, original price. Poshmark requires this of you. Again, they're talking about this more in terms of like modern clothing. Um, I I put 0 because I don't know what the original price was, obviously. And all that does is on Poshmark, when a buyer sees your listing, they see the original price and it's crossed out, and then they see what the new price is. It's a vintage item. Oh, shoot. That reminds me. So on Poshmark, the brand, it they recognize Together as a brand, which is great, but also vintage is a brand on Poshmark. And I like to put my vintage items as the vintage brand because you can search by brand. And so probably people are searching more by vintage as a brand than they are by Together. If I was listing a Gunny Sacks dress, I would put it in the freaking Gunny Sacks brand. But that's because it's very in demand. So change that to vintage. Thank gosh. Thank gosh. I remembered that. All right. So original price, listing price. My SKU, don't have it at the moment, but I'll get that at another point. Now, what's nice is that when I go into add my SKU, which I will try to do before I actually publish the listing, I go back up to the Vendoo form and stick it in there, and then it will populate it in all the rest of the fields. If I decide to change anything before I've published the listing and I change it in the Vendoo field, it'll fix it everywhere else as long as it's like one of the universal fields, like the title, description, etc. One of the things that Vendoo does not do, once you publish a listing, you cannot make a change in Vendoo and have it translate over to the platform. The only way that would work is you would have to delist it from everywhere, make your change, and then relist it. Okay. So if I go through to all these 6 websites and then publish it, and then go, oh shoot, I forgot to add my little SKU number, that's going to suck for me because I'm going to have to add it in Vendoo. And then if I want it in the other platforms, I'm going to have to go in and add it in. Now, the good thing is I probably don't have to do that. If it's just my SKU and where I've listed it in inventory, I can probably just add it in Vendoo and leave it alone because it will still be in Vendoo once the item has sold. But I get paranoid, so I put it everywhere. Anyway, okay, Poshmark, done. Now I'm going to go to Mercari. Now, I have never listed on Mercari directly. I've only ever tried it through this app, possibly a mistake, I don't know, but you see, we've got our title, our description. Now, the brand, Mercari, there's a lot of brands that I think I looked up vintage, and they don't have straight up vintage. They have all these vintage 55, vintage 1946. Like, so a lot of these are actual brands. Um, there is US vintage. I don't know if that's a brand. I do know that American vintage is an actual brand in the UK or something. So because I don't know what any of these are and I don't want to misbrand it, I check this little box here that they have for no brand or not sure. Okay. Condition, good, gently used. I always leave that. They've got like new, which is, and then they put new without tags and parentheses. I leave it at good. Again, I'm relying on my item description more so than these condition fields. Color, let's see what we've got. Once again, not only do we not have an option for multicolor, I don't even get to pick more than one. So I don't know if I have to pick it though. Let's leave it blank and see what happens. All right, Mercari tags. I can add up to 7 tags. From what I can gather, Mercari tags are like hashtag kind of tags. So on Etsy, the buyers really don't see the tags. It's just like a way for the SEO to kind of help rank your item in search. But on Depop and on Mercari, you can like click on that hashtag and it'll bring you to like other things that have that hashtag. So when I write these tags, like on Etsy, I would write bohemian dress as 2 words. On Mercari, I'm going to be writing my tags as, let's see, we'll do bohemian, tropical, floral, midi dress, 80s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, cottagecore that I keep forgetting about, preppy, and what else? Button front. Okay, we don't need that, and I spelled it wrong anyway. Okay, cool. Quantity is 1. Women, above the knee mini. I don't know where we're getting that from. We're going to go with midi. That was cute, Mercari. Nice try. Size. I'm going to select large. So you see, I already had the size selected. It's been populating it in many places, but apparently not in Mercari. So there we go. Optional fields. Size. Again. Ships from, delivery method, listing price, $79. And then they've got, Mercari has options for smart pricing and smart offers. So what that is smart pricing. You set your price, and then if you turn on smart pricing, Mercari will lower your price by whatever amounts over time. And I don't know what the frequency or the amounts are. I don't know if it's like a percentage per week or a dollar amount per month. I don't know what they do because I'm not doing that. Nice try. Also, smart offers automatically responds to offers through Mercari. I also do not do that. So leave it alone. I always want to examine all of those things. So I'm turn those off. I'm going to save this. We're almost there. Depop. Okay. So Depop, you see there is no title. It's got the description. I'm at 968 characters, which means that I can add some tags in up to the point where I hit 1,000 characters. I always hit 80s. Let's see. We're going to do preppy. I'm going to do bohemian because I always do, but I only have, let's see. I might take bohemian out. Let's see. Summer. I don't know. Most of these tags are going to be also in other areas of Depop where they have like some keyword kind of things. I'll put boho, I guess. And I'll put 90s. Oh, exactly 1,000 characters. Nice. Okay, condition. I'm going to leave it at, I'm going to put excellent because I know that there's whatever. It says excellent, used but no noticeable flaws. I know I've got the belt thing going on, but like you barely notice that until you touch it. Primary color is multi. Yes. Source. You can put 2. I'm going to put vintage and pre-loved. You can also choose other times like dead stock, reworked, designer, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. Age, 80s. Style. They give you styles. You have to use these. You can't just pick your own. So see, this is why I don't write boho because it's here. So I'm going to do, let's see, we're going to do cottage core. It's cottage. A fairy core. This isn't really a fairy dress, but I'm also going to pick preppy. And then, see, I picked preppy and boho. I'm trying not to be too repetitive. But also sometimes being repetitive doesn't work against you because it's like, oh, she mentioned preppy 3 different times. This is definitely like in the preppy category, as opposed to like keyword spamming where I'm just throwing everything at the wall and listing everything under the sun, you know, even when they don't apply. I'm going to put retro as my 3rd because why not? So women, dresses, size large, optional fields, size grouping. I don't use this because I use it for plus size stuff, but you know, you can see the options: maternity, petite, plus or tall. Length, midi length. They don't have like knee length or whatever. It's just these 3. So we go. Type. I'm going to call it an A-line. It is kind of a shirt dress. Let's do shirt, whatever. Material, rayon, cotton. Occasion, casual. I'm going to go with summer. And Vacation, why not? All right, brand. Depop, again, they don't recognize all the brands, especially vintage. So when they do not have a brand that's recognizable, they do not have a vintage brand. You can see again, these are all actual vintage brands that have the name vintage in them. So I don't want to list it as vintage supply, for example, when somebody is actually looking for a vintage supply clothing item and then they come across this, which is not the same thing. So on Depop, I write other because that's their version. I recognize that a lot of this stuff you just kind of have to know it. Um, I happen to know that on Depop you use the term other when you don't know what the brand is. I don't remember where I learned that, but there we go. Okay, location and domestic shipping, shipping price. I do free shipping. So for domestic shipping, you'll see like here, Depop shipping is one of my options, but the other is other. I use other because I ship on my own. And so my shipping price is zero because it's built into the price. I used to do worldwide shipping. Here I do just have to select a price and that's the end of the story. I think that I would use, generally I was using $16. I would use the $20 price if it was something a little bit heavier. But because of all the stuff with the European Union, I don't do international shipping on Depop anymore. It's not that I wouldn't do it, but I never made international sales anyway. And I've just removed it as an automatic option. So like if somebody in the UK contacted me and said, hey, do you ship to the UK? I'd be like, sure. Somebody in Australia, sure. But I don't have it as a default because you can't pick and choose. You just have to ship internationally or not. So here's my price, and then I'm going to save it. And then finally, we're going to go to Whatnot. Title, description. This is me listing things to Whatnot is very new. I literally just this past week or two started doing this. It is still in beta mode on Whatnot, so it doesn't really work out too well. But the nice thing is it's super easy and quick. Title, description already there. SKU will be there eventually. No hazardous materials. Quantity of one. Category. Perfect. Show optional fields. The brand, the condition, pre-owned, excellent. Size, large. You can see it's not a drop down. You just put whatever you want in there, I guess. And then type, its address, package weight, buy it now, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to save. So that's all of that. The next step is I'm going to get my photos uploaded into this, and then we'll go from there. So let me do that for you. All right, so I went ahead and edited my photos and uploaded them through the Vendoo app, and now I am ready to publish everything. So first I'm going to rearrange my photos. I just uploaded them in whatever order they came through in from my phone is where they are. So let's shift them around. I have my own little, order routine. So as I'm sure we all do. So each platform has its own requirement for how many photos. Depop lets you have 8, Etsy lets you have 10, eBay lets you have like some obnoxious number like 24 or something. Poshmark is also like ridiculous. I don't know how many Mercari is, but I think it's at least 10, and Whatnot is 10. So the only ones that I'm going to have to adjust for are Depop. I always go with the 10 photos. Sometimes I'll throw extra in, but I know that I'm going to have to I go for what I can fit sort of the most stuff on. eBay takes more, but Etsy only lets me do 10. 8 is just too few. I don't go by Depop's minimum. So also I make almost no sales on Depop. So I've got my photos, right? I'm going to go ahead and save it. And hold on, I'm just going to put my SKU number in before I go crazy here. I didn't want to step off camera to do it, but I also don't want to forget before I publish it. So sorry for the messiness, but hey, my name is Laura. You're used to it. So let me see, got my little SKU number. Enter that in. It's going to be V15. V like Victor, 15. Save. Boop-a-doop. Now we're going to go through to all the listings. Etsy, got my photos. Boop, boop, boop. Got my SKU number. Just going to scroll down to the bottom and hit list. Now I can do this from my phone. I often do. However, I find that some of the platforms like Depop gets really cranky about its connection. It stays pretty stable on my laptop, but on my phone, I have to like reconnect to Depop. And it's just annoying on your phone. Like if you go from the Vendoo app to reconnect, and this is not, again, this is not a Vendoo thing, this is a phone thing. Like it's like, oh, do you want to open the Depop app? And you're like, sure. And then it brings you to the app store, and then it doesn't really ever go back. It's annoying. So I just like to do all this stuff from my desktop so I don't have to run into these problems. So it's already published to eBay. We're going to go to Etsy. Etsy usually takes a little while to actually publish the listing. So you'll see it says like listing down here. You can continue listing as we post this for you, but I usually let it finish doing its thing. I almost never get problems with any of this stuff. Once in a very blue moon, I'll get like an error message because there's some sort of like communication issue between the platforms, but very, very rarely, except Mercari all the fucking time. But that's a known Mercari issue, and it's not just Vendoo. That also happens on other platforms. Mercari is, I don't know what's happening over there. It's probably not worthwhile for me to have started trying to list there, but I'm already doing it for all these other platforms. So Poshmark, gonna list it. Let's see what we happen to get with Mercari. Let's see if it'll work. I feel like there's something out. No, all right, we're gonna list. Let's see. Bated breath. Is it listing? Yay! It listed. Depop. So Depop, I have to fix the photos, right? You see these two photos here are grayed out because it only lets me have 8. So what I usually do, whatever, you don't care what I do. I'm just gonna rearrange to, and when I rearrange these, it only rearranges it for my Depop listing because I'm already in the Depop little tab when I'm doing it, okay? It doesn't change the arrangement for any of the others. So I've got that, and it tells you down here on Depop, the maximum number of images is 8. Only the first 8 images will be used. Yay. So got all that done. We're going to list it to Depop. List it to Depop. Okay. Then Whatnot. So I'm going to do this. Whatnot, here's the photos. It doesn't tell me here how many it's limited to. I believe that Whatnot limits to 10. There's been a couple times where I'll post, like, let's say 12 photos. And even though most of them, like, only 10 show up for Etsy, only 8 show up for Depop, but eBay and Poshmark let me have a lot. I don't, again, don't remember what Mercari does, but Whatnot accepts all 12. But then I'm going to show you what I have to do in Whatnot when I'm done with this. We've got the very sparse Whatnot categories here. And again, it's worth noting Whatnot is just in beta mode, okay? Um, and when I'm listing these on Whatnot, I'm doing these as buy it now formats. You can do an auction, and you can do buy it now or anytime auction, but even Whatnot's anytime auction is not necessarily available to everyone. So this is not listing it to Whatnot for like one of my weekly auction shows, which is a separate thing. Um, this is for a buy it now. So these listings are available on Whatnot all the time. You could go search it right now and purchase one of these items from Whatnot if you so choose to do that. I have not made a sale through a buy it now listing on Whatnot ever. I mostly haven't used it. Let's list it and stop talking about it. But again, I've got the functionality. Why not? I'm already in Vendoo doing all this stuff. And so let's see. So I'm going to go back to my Whatnot. This is my original Whatnot listing from when I had it in a show. You can see I started it at $20, but now I'm listing it for $79 in all the different platforms. I'm going to go back to my regular inventory on Whatnot. I'm not showing you how to use Whatnot, so if you don't know what you're looking at, sorry, I apologize. But you can see here, let's see, active. So these are all of my active Whatnot items that we're looking at right now. And I've got a whole bunch of things here. It's not actually giving me an error right now. Sometimes Whatnot will give me an error that says, that some of your listings are quote unquote low quality. They have like certain things they want you to make sure are in there. And I think condition was one of the things that it often did not carry over from Vendoo. And it seems like it did here. So I don't know if that's fixed, whatever, but I'm going to go in. You can see here the category that it's under is listed as women's fashion, but I list under women's true vintage. in Vendoo, it's not an option for me to pick that. Let's see, hold on, let's go back to Vendoo for a second. Category on Vendoo just says clothing and then dresses. So under apparel and accessories, right, it's just clothing. It's not even men's and women's clothing. Okay, so it's still not really built out the way that we would want it to be. Clothing and accessories. Why did I mess with this? Let me cancel that and leave it as it was. So I'm going to go back over here. So I'm going to fix that. Click on my whatnot listing. When I have too many photos and I try to save it, it'll give me an error message. So I'm going to recent categories. It lets me pick true vintage, but otherwise I can go in here and like select women's fashion. Oh, I did have a problem with this actually. Hold on. Let's see. They have so many weird categories on whatnot. Women's, contemporary, activewear, other. I'm just going to click on my women's true vintage because again, we're not here to look at how to list on whatnot. But so I change it to that. Size, large. And you notice I did have to enter size on Vendoo and it didn't translate over. You can enter brand, but whatnot doesn't recognize most of the brands and you don't need to do that. So I usually don't. The price translated. I do accept offers on whatnot. The shipping profile did not translate over. So I'm going to reselect that. That's a 12 to 15 ounce. And part of the reason is because on Vendoo, I'm entering literally like the exact ounces. And I guess it just hasn't figured out like, oh, what category of shipping profile do you want? And there was not a separate option to do that in Vendoo. So again, still in beta mode. They're going to flesh this out if they decide to keep this listing ability. But I just, after I'm done with my Vendoo, I go into whatnot and I fix it while I'm thinking about it. So that's it. So I think I have like 15 or 16. I have 15 items currently listed on whatnot as buy it now items. And I have like dishware and, men's clothing and women's clothing and everything, because why not? So that was my little listing process. While it does take me a long time to do listings, it obviously took me longer because I was explaining it as I went. But that is the listing process. And, I used to only do that for 3 platforms. I do it now for 6. You can start off and do it just for 2. You can just, if you're taking all your eBay listings and you want to start playing around with Etsy for your vintage items, I list everything everywhere, but that is also because I am very specifically focused on vintage. Etsy only allows vintage. I believe, like, for example, when Kitizen was an option, they only took kids' clothes. So there's some times where you may not be able to list everything across all the platforms. You may choose not to. There's different demographics that prefer different platforms. I'm kind of in this mindset of like, fuck it, list it everywhere, right? I pay per listing on Etsy, but Etsy is kind of the platform that's top of my mind when I'm purchasing inventory anyway. That's kind of the first place I think of as to where I want to list. It's free to list on Poshmark, Mercari, Depop. eBay is not free to list, but I have an eBay store and I get like, I don't know, like 1,000 listings a month. I don't even come anywhere near that. And whatnot is free to list on. So I'm just throwing it all up there. You could choose to connect also, Facebook Marketplace, Grailed, etc. I didn't want to deal with those yet. So I just stuck with these and that's what we're doing for now. But that's our inventory listing process. Now there's other things we can do on whatnot as well. You can see here, still within inventory, that I've got 3 different tabs. So we have active items, draft items, and sold items. So one of the things that I can show you, it's not going to be super exciting, but I sold something on Etsy. And Vendoo does not automatically detect Etsy sales. So I'm going to have to mark it as sold on Vendoo. However, it will pull it off of the other platforms for me. Although honestly, I don't think this is listed anywhere else. I think it's just on Etsy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search vintage crochet sweater. I should get multiple. Here we go. Yeah, you can see I've got 10 active items. Let's see which one. Okay, so it's this one down here, vintage crochet sweater. I only have it listed on Etsy, but you can see other items. It tells me what platforms I have things listed on. And that little yellow thing in the corner is letting me know See, it says view active Etsy listing imported 456 days ago. So that's how long it's been listed on Etsy without having sold, without having been, you know, taken down and relisted or any of that kind of stuff. But then you can see here, this set down here, none of these guys have a little orange triangle because it was only listed, uh, why does it say October 20th? I must have like, I messed around with that one. I didn't delist and relist with Vendoo's feature, but what I did do, I think it was listed on Etsy. I went and I ended the Etsy listing in Etsy, came here, marked it as like not listed, and then when I cross posted it everywhere, I use that as an opportunity to like put it up on Etsy as a new listing. So that's why none of these are, it's showing October 2023, but it doesn't have little warning triangles because I did that. Anyway, this one has a warning triangle, but that's okay because we're marking it as sold. So I'm going to go in here, mark as sold. When you do that, it pops up this little whole bajoozy for you, right? These are all saying that I listed them October 20th of 2023. That is inaccurate. That's just when I opened my Vendoo account. So and then you've got the information here. So it's got the sold price, which I can adjust. Now, when I, like in an example on this, the sold price, I had it listed for $39. However, my buyer used a coupon, I think. Yes, they used a coupon. So this actually only sold for $31.20. I don't normally fill all this crap out. I'm doing this for you, okay? Doing it for you. I hope you appreciate it. Oh, that's not right. Sold price, $31.20. And then you can do other things like fill out what the marketplace fees were. So, now I don't do all this because then I have to like go through and look it up on Etsy and I'm not doing all this, right? Put your cost of goods, your shipping expenses. If I were tracking all of this stuff through Vendoo, this would be useful because shipping expenses, I do free shipping on Etsy. I don't do free shipping in other places. So, blah, blah, blah. I usually just come through and mark it as sold. I usually don't even change the price because I'm not using Vendoo for that, but the functionality is there. So I'm going to mark it as sold. And then had it been listed on these other platforms, Vendoo would have taken it off of those platforms because I'm paying for that feature. Now, even though I was not paying for that feature previously, because it was doing automatic sale detection on eBay and Depop for me, it would still automatically delist it from the other platforms that it was active on without me having to pay extra for that feature. But when I marked it as sold for Etsy, it was not automatically delisting it from that. So let's see. So that's that fun little thing. Now let's play around with, because the other things here we can import. I will try and import something for you, right, from Whatnot. So here it is. This is looking at eBay. I don't want to do eBay as my source. I'm going to do Whatnot. Let's see if it'll work. I don't know if it's going to work for Whatnot. Oh, it does. This is okay. So these items here are very old. It's saying not imported. I think that's funny because, so it's saying getting your latest Whatnot items. We might be sitting here for a while because I have a lot of items on Whatnot. I don't actually know if this is going to be true. We're going to try this sequin and see if we can. All right, I guess not. This might take a little while and maybe was not a good idea. Will I take the opportunity to edit some dead air out? Maybe. This video is going to require more editing than I normally do to begin with. We'll see how I do. Maybe we'll exercise my editing skill as well. See, we're still going. Getting your latest Whatnot items. This is proving to be a little problematic. I got chilly. I put my sweater on. Sequin. First of all, let's see if I even have a sequin option. I mean, I know that I have a thing with sequins that I'm going to be listing. Yep, sequin. Okay. So back here. Get all your items. This may take a few minutes. Give it a shot again. Oh, it's filtering by not, let's see, Whatnot listing status. We're going to have to go to inactive. That's the issue. Well, that's an issue. I don't need to import the active ones because those are already active because of Vendoo. So not imported, and inactive. This may not even work, honestly. I don't know if this is functionality that is up and running for Whatnot. Let's see. Okay. I promise you this works though. Like, oh, here it comes. All right. Look at that, girl. We got some stuff. Okay. So here's the sequin dress I want. So, oh, we successfully finished getting all of your latest items. That's cool. Now, they imported it. Hold on. Let's go up to the top. So you'll see, oh, let's get rid of this little notice. I am still at 58 out of 125 items for the month. Okay. Oh, this is going to be such a mistake on my part, but let's do it anyway. We're here. Let's have fun. So I am going to import several things. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to, you'll see what's going to happen. Let's see. I'm scrolling because I know there's some things. Black floral accordion pleat. Ooh, that. I'm going to pick a few. I'm not going to go too crazy. Tropical print. Let's see. We'll leave that. Let's do the robe. Let's see. Let's pick these guys. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. All right, let's see. I know you're like, Laura, what are you doing? There we go. Sequin dress. This one, I took photos of those already for my special photos, specifically for, oh, see, here's the one we just listed, 80s floral sleeveless. So we're not importing that because I just did other stuff. Did that. It's already listed. I'm just double checking to see if there's anything else here that I took photos of. No, we're going to stick with that. Oh, this one. I keep saying like, okay, that's it. All right, we'll do that. We'll import these 8 items. So you can see importing items. Now, I'm not normally going to do this for Whatnot. I don't think. Maybe I will. It does make it a teensy bit easier. Now it's completed. So now all of this, we're in the import section. I'm going to go back up to my regular inventory. And first of all, you'll see that up here at the top right, now I'm at 66 out of 125 items. It's making it look like I did a lot more work than I did, isn't it? But all of those drafted, oh no, girl, what? Okay. So it's showing these as active for me. They're not actually active on Whatnot. I'm going to change it to not listed because I need these items to show up in my draft folder. Let me see if I can do this in bulk. No. So anyway, but you'll see now, so that now shows up in my draft folder. So I'll go back and do those again later. I don't want to make you watch all this, but right. So then I've got my draft folder here on Vendoo, active items, and sold items. So sold, I usually go back into here to double check. Like if I sell something on eBay, I wait and then come here and check it. You'll see it's got sales detected in this blue bar over here. And eBay, Depop, Mercari, Poshmark, and Whatnot are where it says it's detecting sales. I don't think it detects sales from Whatnot. I don't know why it's got Whatnot listed there, but this Archie Comics juice glasses, I actually had to mark that as sold myself. I may just not have waited long enough, but I kept like refreshing for a few minutes to see if it would recognize the sale from Poshmark. It's supposed to. Why does it say multi-quantity? It is not multi-quantity. That's weird. Maybe that's why it wasn't marking it, delisting it from the other platforms. No, it did delist it. That's so strange. Quantity 0. I don't know why it was showing as multi. Whatever. Anyway. So right? Anyway, we've got those. So that's my inventory. So draft is where I go and, I write my drafts up in advance. And then once they're all written, I go and I later on either take photos or edit the photos and upload them. And then I'm able to go ahead and do this. So that's all my little drafts. And sometimes I try to be slick about things. And like here, I have these tablecloths. So I just did like a really quickie, like I was trying to use up listings one month. I did those back in, no, I did those in February of 2024. I swear I would have thought that I did those in like September, Feb, almost a fucking year ago. Okay, this is why I don't do drafts in advance too much like that. I write the whole draft and then take photos, whatever. Okay. Some people will like you make up a bunch of drafts just to use their allotment, but like I only have 35 and I can't get to the ones that I apparently have had sitting here for a year. So I don't know how people do it with tons, but whatever. That's a me problem. Fine. So we did our inventory tour. And here's that Vendoo labels, right? We talked about that a little bit in the Vendoo field. You can make up Vendoo labels. And so you can search by, I guess, like I don't have Vendoo labels made, so we won't use that. There are advanced filters. So I could filter my inventory if I'm looking for specific things. I can filter it by the date sold, date created, last modified, last listed. Usually those don't help me. Missing sale details. If you do track your sale details in Vendoo, you can sort by that to see which ones you need to update. If you have any duplicate items, I have used a lot the import origin. So I will use that. And let's say import origin was eBay and um, close. And there's no draft items, but there are 203 active items whose import origin was eBay. And I'll use this to help me figure out like, okay, this has never been cross-posted. This has never been cross-posted, blah, 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 right? That's what I was using that filter for myself. But, what was the other one? There was sold but still listed. I don't think I have any of those. Let's see. Why is that listed? See, I do. That's problematic. Let's see. Listed, sold, delisted. Let's delist it. Yay, that's nice. I don't know if it actually needed to be delisted, but there we go. Wow, so glad I was doing this with you. Apparently there's two more. This one sold on Etsy. I must have, I probably did actually delist it and it just didn't, because I was doing it manually before, I had to mark it as sold, mark it as not listed, um, whatever, and then also go to eBay, mark it as not listed, go to Depop, delist it, all that stuff. So that's probably just missed that. And then this one, let's just delist it. Delist. Now here's the other thing. I will be going through and doing my inventory reconciliation, and I would have caught those anyway, but that's part of the reason why I have to do inventory reconciliation, right? Okay, so that was our inventory. Now let's take a little tour of sending offers. Yay, this will be fun. I'm not going to go through too many of them with you, but let's see. So you can see here, right now it's on Depop, and it's telling me there are 15 items. Now Depop actually, I could select all 15, and then it'll like refresh more and keep refreshing till the end of time, and I can send offers on whatever I want, right? So now it's up to 35. So I will do, I'm not going to select all on this page. I am going to do, we'll just do a handful, right? So if I put in the offer amount, I want to do 20%. That's the other thing I really like about doing my offers through Vendoo, because on Depop, when you go to send an offer, it gives you like 3 little single click buttons. So you can just choose, it's like 15%, 25%, or I don't remember what the third one is because I don't use it. I like to do 20% as kind of like my baseline, and it doesn't give me that option. So then I have to do math, and I don't like doing math. So here I can pick whatever percent I want. If I wanted to do 22%, I could do that. So I'm going to put 20%. And then as I scroll down, I can see how much the offer amount is going to be. So like here, I do free shipping on Depop. This is a glass. So it's going to be $19 before the fees and everything. So I'm not going to send an offer on that because shipping a glass, paying the fees on it and all this stuff, it's not worth it. Now you're going to be like, Laura, they don't charge fees on Depop. That is true. However, Depop implemented the no seller fees thing, and it was kind of like, okay, from today forward, anything you list, no seller fees, but the stuff you already listed before, you're going to get charged seller fees. So these are all, it's another reason to do the like delist and relist, because then I wouldn't get seller fees. And then maybe I would be sending an offer on this glass that I'm going to do free shipping on, but not today. So I'm just going to choose a handful of these items. What is that? Oh, yeah. See, now the Pyrex bowl, there's no fees. So, but this still, shipping is so expensive on those things. I'm going to skip it for now. Okay. Anything super heavy, I'm basically not sending an offer on. All right, so let's just do those. I got to pick one more item because I can't just do 9. We got to do 10 because I'm not okay in the brain. All right, so 10. Send offers on 10 items. Yay! And it just boop, 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 sends them all out. It's delightful. And then if I want, I can go here to eBay. It says 0 currently, but it might find if I have any items on eBay. I do currently have 3. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's send them an offer. eBay is very easy to do directly through eBay, but we're here, so why not? Poshmark, same thing. Now, Poshmark, like I said before, is a little bit more specific, right? Poshmark, I don't do free shipping, but also buyers always pay for shipping, like whatever, you can, it's more routine that buyers pay for shipping on Poshmark. It's set up that way already, but Poshmark's fee structure is 20 fucking percent. So, not my favorite thing to do, but let's do it because we're here. Sending a 20% off offer on Poshmark. Mercari. Do we have any offers to send on Mercari? And so you could sit here and do it all, and it's super easy. Now it's coming up in red because it's saying no likers found. It says 1 like. Um, I I don't know why that is. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm going to select all, right? Now I do free shipping on Mercari, so I'm actually going to deselect this little Pyrex bowl because again, and then this says price must be between 0 and 0. It's at 79. Oh, why is it not? That's so weird. So I'm going to chalk some of this up to it being Mercari. Mercari has a lot of glitches that are happening. And I don't necessarily think that it's Vendoo's issue. I think it's a Mercari issue. I know I saw somebody complaining about some of these issues through List Perfectly as well. I think this is all very much on Mercari's side. So I'm just going to go with what we've got here. I'm going to put in a 20% off offer. I'm going to get an error message. That's okay. We're going to live with it. So there we go. Some errors found. No big deal. At some point Mercari is not a big thing for me anyway. So, and then Grailed and Vestiaire, but I don't sell on those. So that's all that. Lovely. The last thing that we're going to look at is some analytics. I really don't use this, but they've got it. Okay. Now, here you will see we're looking at filters today. I have made $31.20 today. Now they're basing that on the information that I put in. We had that Etsy sale. I marked it as sold for $31.20. So this is not accurate information. Okay. This is only based on the very inaccurate information that I have input. So one of the reasons that I don't really use this. It tells me my top selling category. Let's change this date. We'll do year to date. Okay. And again, it's not going to be correct because I don't update things. Now, what I will say too is that even when you automatically, in fact, before we look at this, let's go back to, no, somewhere. Okay. We are going to remove this filter. We're going to go to a sold item and we're going to look at the detected sales. So here's one. I sold this pair of stockings on eBay, right? It still wants me to add sale details. So even though it detected the fact that I made a sale, let's see. Whoop. No, back to inventory. Oh, sale details. Girl, you can tell I never use this. I'm learning along with you. Okay, add sale details. So this says sold for 60 bucks, which I think it actually did, but it doesn't include, the shipping expenses, the marketplace fees. Let me see if I can find one where I know that I took an offer. I'm pretty sure on this one I took an offer. I definitely took an offer. Let me see. What did I do with that one? Oh no, no, I did not. Sorry. See, I'm so confused. Let me see. I believe the moral of the story is that I believe that you have to. Oh, did it detect? I might not have imported that. Hold on. I sold something on eBay, but I don't know if it's a thing that's in Vendoo or not. Apparently not. Okay. Let's see. Those are not on Vendoo. Okay, let's see that one. Get rid of that. Okay, so this top, you'll see that the price sold says girl, price sold says $49. I actually accepted an offer of $30 on this top. And so none of that is updated in here. So even though Vendoo detected the sale, it doesn't update all the price information and everything automatically. So you have to go in and manually do that yourself. So when we go into analytics, there's so many tabs open here. Okay, this information is not going to be correct because I'm not updating all of that information. I'm not adding in shipping. I'm not adding in marketplace fees, none of that. But this is functionality that exists and that you can choose to utilize. And it tells me my top selling categories, which are clothing and accessories, because that's just what I sell. How is it that there's 11? Oh, because it's at year to date. Oh, January. I selected year to date thinking that we're still in 2024. That's a delightful little fantasy. Anyway, okay, fine. It's fine. I was like, how have I only sold 11 things in a year? It's not true. Because yeah. Anyway, but number of items sold by marketplace, Etsy, Poshmark. Have I not made sales on eBay? No, I did. See, I don't understand. Whatever. I don't use this. So it's registering all the Etsy ones because I manually marked those as sold. And the Poshmark, the one sale I made on Poshmark, I also manually marked as sold. So I think that's why it's registering these, but not the eBay or I haven't sold anything on Depop, but I have sold things on eBay. I just didn't update the sale details, so I think those are not included in my analytics. Obviously, I don't use this functionality in Vendoo, but it is here. Okay, and I think it's a fun thing to have. So let's see, I feel like we hit a lot of the really important points. Oh, bulk actions here, right? Now, I also have never used this before, but you can. So bulk, delist, and relist. Again, that's if you want to take, whatever, 10 items, up to 240, I believe, and take them off of their marketplaces. I feel like I should do this with you, and I'm scared because I haven't done it before. Bulk edit Vendoo labels. Those are those Vendoo labels that I don't use, but we talked about. You can bulk copy items. Let's say, I mean, I'm not going to use a lot of these things, like bulk copying, because everything I sell is vintage, so it's generally one of a kind type of items. Okay, but let's click on it and see what happens. So you can go through, and let's say I want to go into active, and I can pick, like, let's copy all of these, pick as many items as I want, and it'll copy them over for me. Okay. I could do, oh, let's cancel that because I'm obviously not doing that. Let's do, you can bulk list. What does that do? Select the items to bulk list. I mean, I guess if I had a bunch of drafts ready and I could just select them all and tell them to list, that makes me a little bit nervous because I'm too controlling and I want to make sure I've filled out all my fields properly. Bulk delist, that's a good feature to use if you're doing that stuff. Most of these things I don't do anything in bulk. So I'm not going to be using these. I will eventually use the bulk delist and relist feature, but right now I don't even want to play with it because I really want to rely on my Vendoo reporting to help me with all of my inventory reconciliation, etc. That's a whole separate video that maybe we'll do together. But you have all these bulk action options, which is fantastic. And then finally, under my little account guy here, which you probably can't see all of, let me move myself just so that you can see more of that. Okay. Account preferences. I'm not going to go into all this stuff because I don't remember what's where. So, but like your address, your payment information for billing and all that kind of stuff. Marketplace connections, you can connect all the different marketplaces. That was freaky deaky. So you can see here, I'm connected to eBay. I've got the sale detection turned on. Sometimes something glitches out and you have to reconnect. You can do that from this area. My Etsy is connected. No sale detection because that's not offered for Etsy. Whatnot is connected. It apparently offers sale detection, which is impressive. But again, I don't know how well that works because they're clearly in a beta mode and stuff is funky still, right? Mercari, sale detection, okay. Grailed I don't use, but I can choose to connect it here if I wanted to. Um, Poshmark, sale detection, okay. Depop. Depop I have to reconnect a lot. Again, I think that's a Depop thing. It's not a Vendoo thing. And then Facebook, Shopify, Vestiaire. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Extension details. I guess I have a Vendoo extension. I think you have to install an extension for Vendoo. I don't remember because I would have done that upon setup. Let's see. Auto offers manager. I don't use that. Let's see. Oh, it's refreshing. So I guess I could turn it on for all of these different platforms and it will automatically send out offers for me at whatever my rules are. So if the price is between this and this, based off of the Vendoo price, I send 10% off. You could add new rule. Um, you know, so I could decide if the price is between $5 and $15, send offers for 10% off automatically. If the price is between, $15 to $40, send 15% off. You can make all your little rules here. That's cool. Exclusions, items listed in the last however many 10 hours. Um, you know, Category, brand, blah, blah, blah. Exclude specific items. That's nice. So these are all functions that you have. I will not be doing that. I don't want to automatically send offers for anything. I prefer to just do it myself, but it's cool that it's a function that exists. Then we've got subscription, and that's where you can go and you can change your plan if you like. We're doing a lot of refreshing here, but that's okay. You can see I've got my plan is 125 items a month. I have the bundle add-on feature. I've done 66 out of 125 items so far this month. I can purchase additional items. What happens if I do that? I'm not going to. Oh, look at that. I can get 20 more listings for $3.19 if I choose. So if I hit my 125, but I still wasn't done with the month, I could add some additional items on. Obviously not doing that. Okay. My billing information, I got my bundle, which I only added on January 7th. So that's a new feature for me. There's my credit card information. Don't even try it. Let's see. Export CSV. We'll get to that in a second because I'm actually going to talk about that. I'll be using that. Tutorials. Another thing, I haven't used it, but they've got all this here. Ooh, status page. I do want to look at that. Vendoo, yeah. Vendoo has a status page. I bookmarked it for myself because I do use it. You can see here, the last update was December 2nd, and I feel like that's a long time ago. Obviously, it is a long time ago. It's January 19th as I'm recording this. They I rely on this because like here, listing, it's still giving an error message for Mercari. I don't know if this hasn't updated since December 2nd because Vendoo just hasn't updated it or because this is still the same status as before. It used to update pretty regularly. And I know that they lost 2 employees recently. So I don't know if that's impacting anything. Um, but again, their customer service has been very good. I haven't had a problem with that. And so, I do check on this page. I normally have it bookmarked, but there's that, their status page. They have tutorial calls. They also do fun little things like have like listing challenges and stuff. that you can like sign up to be part of. It's like little group Zoom meetings and things. I haven't done those. Um, let's see, and then referrals. So this is where I could choose, you guys will have a link in my YouTube thing where, if you sign up through my referral link, I get money for that. So that's nice. Oh, look, I've actually had people visit, but nobody has actually purchased through Vendoo yet. It would have been a YouTube person. So thank you for visiting and checking it out. And then you can download graphics for social media and things like that. The export CSV. This is fun. I am going to be doing this when I do my giant inventory reconciliation. Didn't I click on this or is it being slow? I don't know. Oh, it's on there already. So let me see. I did do one of these just to test it out one day. Start date, end date. So I just selected all inventory because when I do this, I'm going to be doing all inventory. It's going to be super funsies. And then you can customize your headers and generate the CSV. I think that I did customize my headers. So I did not. Did I want images? I don't think so. Title, description, brand. I'm going to leave that. I'm scared. I'm going to get rid of brand. Condition, I don't care about. Color, I don't care about. Tags, no. SKU, I care about. Category, I'll leave. Price, status, I'll leave. I don't need the price. Listed date, sold date. Oh my. Yeah. I don't need sold date, sold platform, sold date. So I'm going to delete a lot of these and then generate a CSV for myself. I did it once. I don't want to do it with you now because it'll be tedious. But I did find I just wanted it to give me like the SKU number, obviously, where it's available for me, the title and the description. The reason I have the description is because sometimes the title isn't necessarily like this dress that I just listed, 1980s floral button front, shirt dress. Like if I'm not looking at the item, I've 1,300 items, right? I'm going to be like, is this the right thing? And, especially if I don't have a SKU number in the system, I should have SKUs for most of them, but not necessarily all of them. So I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right item. So reading the item description will be helpful if I need it. So I'll be generating a giant CSV to be able to help me do my inventory reconciliation, but that's not for today. That's a totally different video. So that's our little tour of Vendoo. Little tour of Vendoo is very long. I know that. I am so sorry, but I hope that it was thorough. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. I really do love Vendoo. I'm not just doing this because like they're running a promotion. I mean, the only incentive I'm getting out of this is like maybe I'll be entered in a drawing to win $100 or something like that. Like I wanted to make this video for y'all anyway. If you use my Vendoo link to join, I do get some sort of commission. I forget, and I think it's like, you know, every month, like I get a small percentage, and I'm sure small is going to be like a very small because if your plan is only $20 a month, how much are they going to be giving me for referring you? Do you know what I mean? But I do think that it's like a lifelong thing that as long as you're active on Vendoo, I get a small amount of money for that. You can see I have not yet gotten any money out of these Vendoo clicks, so it's not my primary source of income. I'm just sharing this information because I legitimately like Vendoo. So if you're interested, I do think the 40% off is a great offer because if you have a lot of inventory to import, you can take advantage of the 40% off, whether you do it a monthly or a yearly plan, whatever you want to do. Get the biggest plan possible that will let you import everything. And then all of your inventory is in Vendoo. And then you can drop it back down to, for the following month, drop it back down to like whatever you think you're going to be using on a regular basis. So I think that's such a fantastic deal. That's how I signed up with Vendoo. I took advantage of an offer like that. It must have been a Black Friday thing if it was in October. So super exciting though. Like I really do love Vendoo. I never cross posted before using Vendoo. And I love that I can do it with so many platforms. And especially I love the delisting thing. I resisted it for a very long time because I didn't want to pay extra money. But I finally said, you know what? Even if I only signed up for $5 a month for the delist relist feature, it's worth it to be able to just mark something as sold on Etsy and it will delist it from the other platforms for me. That is worth $5 a month because it was very annoying. And as you can see, I missed some. So that is Vendoo. I hope that you enjoyed it, the video and Vendoo. And if you end up signing up with Vendoo and you like it, let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts about it, or if there's more stuff that you want to see about Vendoo. If I did not talk about it enough already, let me know and I can do another video with me, since I now understand how to do some screen sharing. Thank you so much for watching this. As always, I appreciate it so much, and I will see you again soon. Bye.